Yeah, we played a Europa League game here and I played, and I think he was in away at the Celtic game.
Was it? Kieran, we're in the indoor dome at Arsenal. Let's take it back though, before you became a Premier League player, growing up in the Isle of Man and then moving to Scotland. Memories of your childhood and how impactful football was for you at a young age?
Yeah, my mum and dad went to Isle of Man for work before I was born, obviously. I was born there and I lived there about a year. My mum got homesick and came back, which was probably the best decision.
Really?
Yeah, so came back. And my first ever memory of football would be me and my dad going to the Red Ash Park, so it was Red Ash.
Right, yeah.
And we'd have to jump the fence to go into the school. And he just took me there, I'd do shooting into him and he'd shoot into me and just stuff like that. That was my earliest memory, like jumping the fence to get in. I'd have been about 3.
Love that. Is your dad jumping the fence as well?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I think he had to move one of the slates in the fence to let me in. But yeah, that was my earliest memory. Then probably not long after that would have been my first Celtic game.
I read that your whole family, not just Celtic fans, but Celtic obsessed, like season ticket holders, shirts, everything. So was that ingrained at you at a young age? I imagine you didn't have a choice of who you supported as a young lad.
Yeah, massive. Everybody's massive. Like my dad, my uncle, they all ran supporters buses. Like they all were the head of that. So growing up, I'd always go on supporter buses, and that was kind of every child's dream. Like just going to football, going with their mates, and my mates were all in the same bus and stuff like that. So it was brilliant.
Were all your friends Celtic fans, or did you have some Rangers mates as well, and it was kind of battling the playground?
No, it was always Celtic.
Everybody was a Celtic fan?
Yeah, there was the one or two, because I stayed in Motherwell, there was a few Motherwell fans, but at my school, St Brendan's the school was, it was all Celtic, so.
When you were playing in the streets, you mentioned there sneaking into pitches, was it you were using anything as a goal at that time when you were playing with your mates, garage doors, parked cars?
Yeah, at mine, there's a big grass park and there's 2 trees perfectly aligned.
Oh, nice,
that's
easy.
Yeah, we'd go up there and play in Red Ash again. Then in a few years when I got a bit older, there's this like a concrete pitch, and it had like good goals with the basketball net on top of it.
Oh,
Have you seen that?
I know what you mean.
So it's like the cage, we called it the cages, so we used to go down the cage and play all the time.
You got scouted, or at 7 years old you joined Celtic. So just talk us through how that came about, because that's a very young age to be recognised.
Yeah, I was playing my boys' club, Netherton Football Club at the time, and I was 7, but I was playing under 9s, so I was a year above myself at the time.
Yeah.
I was playing left mid.
So you're bossing it, basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I was just fast when I was young.
Right, okay.
I don't know if I was any good, I was just quite fast. Yeah, so I done that, and after a game one day, we were just driving out for the game. I can't really remember the game or if I done well or I scored. And the coach was shouting on my dad to come back, and I never thought anything of it. And he was away for like 10-15 minutes, and he came back. He says, "You've got a trial with Celtic on Friday night." Like, I'd never even thought anything like that was ever possible for me. So I went. As soon as I went home, I told all my friends, told my family that I've got a trial with Celtic. And then, yeah, every Friday night for the next few years, I was still playing with my boys' club, and I was going to train with Celtic on the Friday. And then when I was 9 or 10 years old, that's when I signed kind of officially for Celtic. It was Roberto Carlos for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was fast, he was powerful, his shots were so hard. So
wand on him, didn't he?
So when we were younger, like, you'd just do free kicks and you'd do right. I'm doing a Roberto Carlos, he'd run up, like, try and do what he done.
Do you remember his one at Le Tournois, the one that bent the wrong way around?
Yeah, you'd try and do that.
Did you replicate it?
Never once. Yeah, but stuff like that, and he was my left back that I looked up to.
Okay.
Yeah. Nakamura, because he was left-footed at Celtic.
Yeah.
So I always looked up to left-footed players, and obviously his free kicks are like.
I know. I remember that one against Manchester United in particular.
He scored 2 against Man U. He scored one at Old Trafford as well.
He did, yeah.
And one at Celtic Park. So.
I want to roll the clock back to when you signed your first professional contract with Celtic. Do you remember the day that the contract was slid across and you went home to tell your family? Yeah,
so we had to do a school project. We went to, like, Celtic sent you to a school.
Okay.
And you went there for 2 years when you're 14, 15, which was hard. And at the end of the second year, you get told whether you're getting a contract or you're not, you're getting released. I was probably, I think, one of the last people in the team to get told.
Oh, wow.
So there's people were like, "Oh, I've been offered a 3-year deal, been offered a 2-year deal," and I was like, "I've been offered nothing." Like, it was at a time, and my dad was like, we're maybe going to need to find another club now, like, because I wasn't getting a game either. I was never playing, I was on the bench all the time.
Yeah.
I was moving down to a younger age group to play. So he's like, maybe actually think about a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got to a stage where like, football might not work here, like, I'm not playing, I've not been offered any contract, so what's happening? And my dad was a roofer at the time.
Right.
So we were thinking like, need to do an apprenticeship with him or something like that. But then near the very end, I got offered like a 1-year deal, which was brilliant. Like, there's people offered 3-year deals and stuff, but just to be offered that one chance, and after it was just a brilliant day for your family. Like, so proud. Like, I was on the bench once actually. Then the next day I broke my leg.
I read that.
So
yeah.
it was the first. So I was that high in my life.
Yeah.
The first time I made the bench, then the next day I broke
Is
my
that
leg.
almost the biggest high and low that you've had in football in the same 24-hour period?
Yeah.
How did you break it?
It was on AstroTurf like this, and I just kind of twisted the wrong way.
Oh,
and
you must have immediately thought,
Yeah,
no.
you hear it crack, you're like, oh, it's disgusting.
And how tough is that mentally for you prior to making your debut
Yeah.
and to being involved, being told you're going to be involved, to going through that? You just described it as the biggest low. How do you mentally prepare for that as a young player?
I think it was probably the best time it could happen to me because I just had a taste and I was like, no, I want more. I want to play, like, I'm going to work to get further than where I was. Like, so it was good timing. Like, it was never great timing for an injury, but you need to work hard. The mental side's tough, but you can always come back. It's hard work, but I've had 2 leg breaks, a few shoulder injuries. Like, it's doable to come back. Like, I've still played 200 career games nearly in 22, so yeah, it's hard, but it's definitely worth it.
Going on from talking about your school days there, that you always put, I want to be a professional footballer, and a teacher pulled you up on that and said, you need to change that because it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to that teacher since?
No, but my mum was a dinner lady at the school.
Oh, right.
And it was a year we pick our subjects, and it was like, what do you want to be? So like, if you want to do like craft and design and different stuff, or you want to do French, and I always wrote footballer. Yeah. And they never really said it to my face, but they were always weird with it.
Yeah,
and then one of the teachers went up to my mum at dinner time, like, you need to tell Kieran he can't write football here. Yeah. My mum's like, that's what he wants to be. Like, my mum obviously believed. And so it stuck. I was writing football.
Yeah.
But yeah, the teacher did go up to my mum and say, yeah, you need to tell Kieran
Really?
to be realistic here.
What do they want you to be?
I don't know, man. Whatever, a teacher probably. Yeah, but I don't know what I'd be. So.
Do you remember your first ever game at Celtic Park? Do you remember walking out in front of your family and your friends and thinking, wow.
As a player?
As a player, yeah.
Yeah, it was, my first game at Celtic Park was Flag Day, so it was the first game of the season. The other left back was suspended at the time. I was 18 years old, so I got 60 minutes and I done well actually. Like, I was nervous, but at Celtic Park we got an early goal. I think we got an early penalty and scored, and it just settled my nerves. And then I got a round of applause coming off, and that's perfect day. And again, we went to, there's a Celtic pub in mine at my area called the Cross Keys, and we went up to the Celtic pub and had lunch after that as well. Yeah, it was brilliant, man.
Because you like doing that, don't you? Getting involved with the fans. I've seen the videos of you in front of the fans, kind of getting the chants going. What is it about the Celtic fans that are so special to you?
Yeah, everything. Like, they made my time there so special. It was all about them. Like, everything we done as a team was because of the fans. Like, we won treble, we qualified for Champions League a couple of years in a row, and that was because the backing of the fans, and the club is just together. It's so together. Like, it's crazy, a big family.
What exactly did you learn from Brendan? Because a lot of Leicester players now, he's brought a lot of young players through. You're a young player. Is that a skill set that he has particularly, that he gives youth a chance? Yeah,
when he first came in, I don't actually know if I should be saying it, but there was a bid from Arsenal as well back then, when he first joined Celtic. And I was like, we'll stay here. Like, he's like, we'll stay here, you'll play, like, you're still very young. Just learn and play games. I'd only played 30 games at the time, first team, so I wasn't ready for anything. I was still trying to break into the team to be the #1 left back. So next 3 seasons I played over 100 games under him, and I won numerous like young player of the years and stuff like that. Got a captain Scotland as well. So my career really took off when he came in.
And with that said, whole family Celtic, you've won all of these awards, trophies. You're saying the relationship you had with the fan, Arsenal come in. How difficult and exciting, both sides of it, but that decision that you had to make as a young player in your career, how tough was that for you?
Yeah, that was sleepless nights. Like, it was hard decision. Like, I knew how big Arsenal were, and like, a massive club in a massive league, and you're coming down here, and I'm playing in training every day. I'm playing against Pepe, Ozil, Lacazette, Aubameyang. You're playing against the world's best players. It was obviously a great offer, but I still was sleepless nights thinking, like, what's the best thing to do here? And it went on for ages.
Did it?
Yeah, like the time the first bid came in until I signed on deadline day, I was just kind of up in there. And at the time, I was just coming back from my injury in my pubic area, so I was like, don't even focus on it. What's going to happen will happen. Like, just work hard and get fit, and everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
But Arsenal were a massive club, and when I came, I realised that. And you probably don't realise how big it is until you come as well.
Did you bring your parents down with you? Did you come alone? Because obviously you talked about how big an influence your dad in particular was on your younger career. Does he come to every game, or is he still up in Celtic Park, season ticket every week? Forget about Kieran.
Yeah, we played a Europa League game here, and I played, and I think he was in away at the Celtic game.
Was he? He didn't fancy that.
Yeah, and he still goes to Celtic games home and away, really. So like, doesn't make him any less a Celtic fan like it does me, but yeah, he'll support me obviously every day of the week, but yeah, he still enjoys Celtic games.
Yeah, and I read that you bought your parents a house when you were at Celtic. You still lived with your parents for many years. So coming down there, how have you found the transition of moving to England, moving house and everything? How have you found that?
It's hard. That's hard, 100% it's hard. When I first got my kind of big first team contract at Celtic, it was literally the first thing I done. I said to the bank manager, like, I'm going to buy a house for my mum and dad here.
Mate. Love that.
And it was closer to my mum's work as well. She was walking up and down. She had 3 jobs.
Wow.
So I could do what I do. Like, I went to that school, the St Ninian school at Celtic, and she was up at 5 in the morning with me, went and cleaned the school, came back, went and done a dinner lady. Then after dinner lady, she went and cleaned the school again. It's tough for my mum and dad, and they've literally put everything into me. So like, the main reason I play football is obviously I enjoy it. I love playing football, but it's to repay them.
And let's talk about one specific injury. I want to talk to you about the broken jaw that happened final day of the season when you were winning the treble against Aberdeen. And then you came back afterwards. What's the story behind that?
So it was just a normal build-up to the cup final. Obviously the bit of nerves before the game. Played 25 minutes or something, half an hour. We were doing okay. I think it was 1 each. And then it was a throw-in. And the boys threw it up the line, and the Aberdeen players elbowed me right in the jaw. And he'd done it a couple of weeks before as well.
What, same player?
Same player.
Jaden Stockley, was it? Yeah.
So he elbowed me in the head, man. Big elbows. And I went away, like, my tooth was away facing the wrong way. It was bleeding. My jaw was kind of cracked as well, so I could feel a crack in my jaw. My dentist, like, not a club dentist, not just my dentist.
Your dentist?
My specific dentist was sitting behind the dugout.
It's so lucky.
Yeah, madness.
Just coincidentally,
honestly, he goes to all the games, but like, for him to be sitting there that game, and then he came running down the stairs, and security wouldn't let him in, because he just, like, who are you? Like, but I was like, no, you
I'm
let
his
him
dentist.
in. I was like, let him in. Well, I couldn't speak, like, my teeth were all over the place. And then he came into the changing room, and he looked at me, and the dentist is like, do you want to go for a quick operation, maybe make it back for like the after party, or hopefully the after party? And I couldn't speak, but I was like, go, like, I can't, what am I going to do? So we went, and his practice is maybe 15 minutes away. Put me on something, so I can't remember it. Straightened my teeth, fixed them. I woke up, took a picture, I was like, it looks as if nothing's happened. It was like that much of a difference, it was perfect. And then it was like 75 minutes, I'm like, right, go, we need to try and get it back. And we're going.
Back in the Porsche.
Yeah. You're not fully fixed at this stage.
No, I'm still out it, man. It's
like, get me back to the game.
Yeah, it's drugs or something they gave me. Don't know what they gave me, but it was good. And then we're driving back to the game, we're at traffic lights, and I remember, like, it was like Tom Rodgers, the commentary for Tom Rodgers scoring.
Right,
So we're all gone mental in the car. He's beating the horn, the physio in the back's going mad as well.
You're holding your jaw,
yeah, exactly. Then I just jumped out of the car, like, I can't really remember it. I jumped out of the car in my kit, had my boots on. I just ran. I just kept running. The Aberdeen fans are all shouting stuff at me as well. Yeah. So they're coming out, thousands of them as well.
Yeah.
I'm running up the stairs, And down the stairs again, you come out,
Yeah.
and I seen one of the security guys, he's kind of got pointed up to lifting the trophy, and there was like 2 or 3 people still to lift it.
Yeah.
So I ran up the stairs. Musa Dembele was the last player to lift it, and he passed it back to me.
Amazing.
And I've lifted it, and like the emotion's pouring out with that pulling the badge. Like you can hear the fans roar, and it was the first time that when we went down to the pitch, it was the first time I've like kind of nearly cried on a football pitch.
Really?
Yeah,
Because of everything you went through that day?
Yeah. I've seen all his video meetings, I've been in the meetings together as a team before the games, after the games, and just his analysis is amazing. Then in Dubai there for the winter break, I was doing some one-to-one work with him, and that's when I realised that this is brilliant. Like, I'm learning a lot just in a rehab session.
Really? And when you say brilliant, what is it exactly? His attention to detail, his man management?
Just the way, like, he knows what's going to happen in a game and how it's going to happen and what you should do and where you're going to get pressed from and where your options should be. Like, you should know where the left mid's going to be or the centre mid, so you can just play like in sync. Everybody's a one brain, and I think that's perfect. And hopefully when I'm back fit, like I get the chance to play and I can just build up fitness and confidence again.
So final question then, Kieran. How much would you credit playing on that red AstroTurf pitch with your dad at 3 years old and growing up with your mates in the cage to playing now? How much credit do you put towards that?
Probably you learn all sorts in life about that when you're playing football. And I was playing against older people as well, so the physical side and just the enjoyment. You just enjoy playing football, and I think it should always be that way in football. Like you stop enjoying it, then it's like, what's the point? When I was playing all the way up, I've enjoyed football every day of my life. I enjoy coming into training every day. You don't really call it work, it's like training. Although it is your work, but you're coming in to train, you're coming in to play football, coming in to get fit, better yourself, play with the best players. Like, it's a dream, it really is. Like, I'm so grateful for the opportunity I've got, and like, well, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm just grateful, and I'm going to work hard to make sure I give myself and the team the best chance to be successful. Like, I can't predict what will happen, but as long as I work hard and try to better myself, then I know in myself I've done all I can.
Kieran, absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much.
That, of course, was Making It Pro with Kieran Tierney. Thanks to EA Sports FIFA 20.